Hey everyone, how's it going? So I want to talk about the season 10 finale trailer because I haven't really talked about it too much besides the couple of times that I did when it first was released. But I was just rewatching it again and I was just kind of analyzing the trailer a little bit more and just seeing if there was stuff that we haven't talked about yet. And there were actually a few things that upon I guess not even a second time watching, but the fifth time watching, really just watching it more in depth, watching every single scene and just kind of doing research on stuff that you start to pick up on things. And I think there's a few things in this, I guess, the opening minutes that tell us a lot about what the plot is going to be for the season 10 finale, at least in terms of what's happening at the hospital. There's some stuff with Virgil. I think we can eliminate some other things, or I guess theories that people have been wondering about. And then there's Maggie, of course, and certain timelines of things. So I want to talk about this a little bit more. And I also want to talk about the general season 10 finale trailer. I have to rewatch it first, so I'm not promising I'm going to do a video on that, but I just want to really carefully analyze every single shot and see if there's any clues there, and then obviously do a video on that. First, I do want to say, because I've been seeing people commenting that I've been away a lot, and I've just been away only because of, really, there's no reason. It's not because there's nothing to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about with the series in general. I could always do other things. I literally, on my notepad, I have so many ideas here, at least 20 to 30, 20, maybe 22 ideas. And that's just surrounding the season 10 finale and season 11 alone. That's not really the issue. I'm just enjoying the summer right now because, right now you can't really do a lot. And for the last 2 months, it's just been you can't go anywhere, right? And now that in the last month or so, month and a half or whatever, we've been having this really nice weather because we're entering into the late May right now. It's I just want to enjoy the summer a little bit more. And so I've been spending some time with the kids and doing some other stuff. And that's really the reason. There's nothing going on with me or anything like that. I'm just I'm intentionally not doing videos because I just want to enjoy stuff. And yeah, I don't want to sit here and do a video if I don't feel like doing a video, because I think you would probably it would come across that way. I want to do videos that I'm really excited about and really interested in doing. So that's why I'm doing this. I am going to be doing that other Q&A. I promised you guys that I would do a second Q&A video. So I'm still going to take 10 questions from that that post I made on the channel. So I'll take 10 questions from there, 10 different questions, obviously. But yeah, anyways, let's talk about the season 10 finale trailer here. I have a lot of notes. I've been watching this over and over. Actually, I keep saying trailer, but it is the opening minutes. I think I keep thinking it's the trailer because it was the first trailer that I saw after episode 15 was over, and then later on they released not the Maggie one. They released the general season 10 trailer later on. But anyways, a huge part of the opening minutes that I've noticed is that it focuses a lot on Gabriel. And there's a lot of things. It focuses on him helping out people here, and he's throwing these sheets to people, and like I said, he's helping people. And then these kids come up to him, and then he gives this inspirational speech, and that connects, I guess, to the entire opening minutes. So it's his voiceover throughout all of this. And it's all about coming together, how we're stronger together. And I just really can't help but feel like he's going to die in the season 10 finale. It's just parts of me second guess it, because obviously there's a chance that he won't. I keep thinking, well, maybe he gets the Rick death moment in the Commonwealth arc, right? You need someone who's more of a leader in that position, who stands for these ideas. And the only two people that I know of right now that really strongly have these or hold these ideas dear to them is Ezekiel and Gabriel, right? They're two very inspirational people on the show right now. Everyone else, I'm not saying they're not inspirational, but they're not leader material, I guess is what you could say. Carol isn't really much of a leader. Daryl's not really much of a leader. They're leaders in their own ways, but they're not a community leader. They're not like Rick, right? Rick, Gabriel, I guess Maggie and Ezekiel are the four characters that I think really get it. And because they're just bringing Maggie back, I doubt she's going to get that death in season 11. And obviously it can go to Ezekiel and Gabriel, and we'll just have to wait and see on that. But because of the timeline of things, because we're at this moment here, because it seems like the season 10 finale is going to have a lot of deaths, I think it makes perfect sense that Gabriel is going to die in this episode. I haven't done a death predictions video yet, and I really should, but I think that Gabriel for sure is going to be someone that dies, because this seems to be the opening of the episode. We see Gabriel running here with sheets, and he's throwing them to, I think this is Jerry here, and I think they're covering the windows. At first I thought maybe they were using, ripping it up and using it as just material for fire arrows, or they were doing something with it, but I don't think that really makes much sense. just because later on you see, and also I thought that because Gabriel runs into Diane here and she's holding a ton of arrows, she drops them on the ground. So I was like, are they doing what the Whisperers just did like a couple episodes ago? Because obviously that would make sense. They would get the idea from that. But no, I don't think they're necessarily doing that. Because if that happens, then they're just all going to catch fire, which would catch the hospital on fire. And yeah, you don't want to do that, right? Because we see Gabriel here go up to the window and he sees the dead outside. They're completely surrounding the hospital. And then he just pulls that sheet down to cover the window. So I don't know why they're covering the windows, to be honest. I guess it's to stop any movement that the Whisperers could see from the windows. I don't think it's going to really do much, but that could be the general idea. What I found really cool was just this scene here. And I think this is what everyone takes away from the opening minutes here, is that it just seems like Gabriel is becoming the moral compass of the show right now. And obviously, as longtime fans of the show, you know that's a bad thing. I think it started with, did it start with Dale? I don't know if it started with Dale, but anyways, Gabriel is talking to these kids here, and he's just become an inspiration at this point, because he's teaching these kids here about the future and that there's something worth fighting for, because he says he has 5 fingers, one for Alexandria, the other for the hilltop, the ocean side, and the people of the kingdom. And the 5th one is for whoever comes next. So for the people that need help and that will find them one day. And just hearing this here, it's just like I said, it's inspirational. Gabriel is telling these kids that everything is going to be okay, that we will overcome this, that what they have is going to grow and it's going to get bigger and better. And as long as they stay together, like over time, we are going to get bigger as a community. We will beat this thing. And yeah, we are stronger together. You may lose some people on the way, but overall, you're going to keep growing. And I just feel like Gabriel is giving his lasting impression on the show. Watching that, that's just the vibe I get. I think it's what we're going to remember him by as we enter into the next arc, if he in fact dies in the season 10 finale. But it's going to be this, because I look at Jesus, and in his final episodes, it really did say that, at least to me anyways, that he wasn't much of a leader, but he was going to do anything in his power to help people. And I think that's why when he went on that trip with Daryl and Aaron to search for Eugene, he felt really happy. It was full circle. He was out there looking for people again. I think the same thing is happening here with Gabriel. I think things are starting to go more full circle for him, because I think we're at the end of his arc. Going back to season 5, when Gabriel first met Rick, he was such a coward, right? And I do think it says a lot about who Rick was, because he saw right through Gabriel, right? Like I think Rick just has this instinct. I think that's what makes him such an interesting character. He knew something was up with him, because as he says, we all did something. Like he actually says that in the scene here. What have you done? We've all done something. He saw right through Gabriel. And obviously, as we will learn eventually, Gabriel did do some pretty, I guess, sinful things, you can say, and he really wasn't the person he is today. He was such a weak person, and you go back to even when he killed Dante this season. He killed him in such a brutal way. It was just such a drastic change from what we're used to with this character. I think he's come for full circle, from being a weak person to overcoming that to becoming a fighter, and then now an inspiration, speaking to these kids here. I think you can see how much Gabriel has grown, and I think that's why I just get this vibe that he will die in the season 10 finale. This is also where he dies in the comic, and he's heavily focused on in the trailer here, or I guess opening minutes here. I think everything adds up. I think we're at the final part of Gabriel's story. Now, because I don't want to focus on Gabriel too much here, there's other things here, but again, there's not much else I can say. Like, there's this shot here of Eugene, the princess, and Yumiko. I mean, what else can I say? I've talked about this a lot. Now, on Virgil, obviously, we see him going to Oceanside here. I think what this actually tells us is that he's ready to join a community. He was on his own before, and the last time we saw him was with Michonne. Before that, he was with Michonne in Oceanside. So he's coming back to the only place that he knows, a place that is actually a community. And I think he wants to help out. I think he's coming here because he wants to tell them that I have something to offer and I want to help out. I want to join this community. I think that's what he's going to try and do. They'll have some questions about Michonne, so I think that'll be some interesting stuff to get into in season 11. But I do think that is what Virgil's purpose is here. And I also think that he is alone. I know I saw some people theorizing that he could be with Maggie, he could be with other people, but I don't think that's the case. I think he's just alone, looking to join a family, a community, and have, I guess, what what Michonne had. I think Michonne really left an impression on him, and I hope he changes for the better. And I think that's what we're seeing here. I think this is a tease for what that character could bring in season 11, and I hope he mentions more stuff about Rick and Michonne, because I think we need that at this point. I think it would make no sense for Virgil to just never bring that up. And then we have this here, which I know people have talked about so much. But the reason why I want to bring it up again is because I think what we have to focus on is what the character looks like before he does the pose, or he or she does the pose. Because everyone keeps, I'm just going to stick with he for now, because yeah, I just want to make it simple. But before he actually poses here, I think that's what you got to focus on, because everyone focuses on the pose, and it's so hard to tell who this person could be when you actually focus on the character when he's more in a, I guess, standing position and not crouched or squatted in that pose. You can see a little bit more of who this is, and I do think this is probably a guy. Again, it is still really hard to tell because there's just little things that don't give it away. It's like the outfit. But there are just certain things about it where it's like, well, the shoulders are pretty big. But then again, this could be just a really muscular woman, right? I don't know. I'm just sticking with this being a guy for now because I feel like it makes a lot of sense. Just the movement in general, I think it makes sense. Now, as for who this is, I don't think this is any character we know of, just because of how fast this character is moving that. I don't think that's Dwight or Austin Emilio. I don't think the character is doing that. His character looks a lot bigger, I would say, than Austin Emilio as well, so I don't think this is Dwight. I know I threw the idea out there like a month or two ago that this could be Dwayne, and honestly, if that ends up being the case, we'll never know, because they would have to recast the actor, or I guess they could get the same actor, but we would never know based off of this. So as of now, I really think that we just have to think of this character as a new character. We are starting to enter the area where it's uncharted territory. We don't know what's happening next. We have a few storylines from the Commonwealth arc that will be told in season 11, but for the most part, it's all going to be original material, and I think this character here is going to be a part of that. I think this character will be original material. I think he's coming from original material. He probably will play a role, though, in the episode, because he is with Aaron and Eldon. This is in the opening minutes, so he is going to play a role in the finale somehow. Maybe he's the one that kills Beta, right? Because obviously, as you know in the comic, Jesus and Aaron are out in the woods, they're camping out alone, and then Aaron's the one who ends up killing Beta. Well, what if these characters here, because he is with Eldon and Aaron, what if they're alone? Eldon or Aaron has questions for whoever this is, and then they go follow this person to their camp or something like that. We end up on this different side story that ends up leading to Beta's death. That's very possible. That could happen. I guess my point is, I really think that this is a new character. I just feel very comfortable with that. I think to think that this could be anyone else, it's really just fan theory-like, and I think realistically, at this point in the story, it makes sense. If we were like on season 5 or 6, then you could probably label this to be anybody at that point, but I just think timeline-wise, because Dwight on Fear the Walking Dead is like 6 years in the past, it's like, it's definitely not him for sure. So the next part I want to talk about is, I guess, the timeline of this scene here with Maggie. First of all, we see Maggie's wedding ring here, and that's Maggie's wedding ring because if you actually look back to season 3, is it season 3 or season 4? I can't remember exactly, but you do see Glenn proposed to Maggie. I'm pretty sure it's season 3. I don't remember actually. When did Glenn propose to Maggie? It was during the governor arc anyways. But we see the ring here. We see Glenn clearly give this exact ring to Maggie. And it's kind of cool to see this make a reappearance in season 10, which I think also tells us that Maggie has still not gotten over Glenn, and that could be a story for her in season 11. Because in the comic, she does find love, kind of. I guess she finds a rebound basically with Dante. And so that could be the case in season 11. That could be her next story, is really letting Glenn go and moving on, because she hasn't gotten to that point yet. And I think a lot of fans would be overall happy with her doing that because it's been so long since Glenn's death, especially in the show's timeline, right? It's been like 8 years already. I think a lot of people would be okay with it. And so I think that's why we're seeing the ring here. It's like the first shot we see of Maggie, right? It's that hand taking all the wood or logs apart here to get those notes. Now, when you actually look at the letters here, it doesn't say anything about Alpha being dead, which obviously happened pretty recently. I doubt these letters could have gotten there because I don't think news has really spread around about that yet. But I do think Maggie is reading this letter around the same time that Alpha died. I think it's roughly around there, because Carol mentioned in the season 10 premiere that Maggie hasn't responded to any letters yet. There's been nothing new in whatever spot that they put the letters, right? There's been nothing new there. So Maggie's been up to something for a little bit. Like, we might learn that maybe in the season 10 finale or in season 11. But the point is, she hasn't gotten to them yet. So as of the season 10 premiere, Maggie never read the letters, and so that's what Carol was mentioning there. So, she reads these these letters at some point during season 10. I think it's probably closer to when Alpha died because I think Maggie is going to react very fast and go and help them out. And I don't think she's too far away from them either, where it's going to be like this whole month trip. She probably is pretty close, but yeah, that's what I noticed here anyways. Maggie reads these letters, and I think that's when she decides to leave. And this is probably around the time that Alpha died. It could be around the time that the Battle of Hilltop happened. You don't see anything here that says that they recently lost the Hilltop. So Maggie is just reading this pretty recently at some point in the second half of season 10, and then she reacted pretty quickly and will show up at some point in the season 10 finale. Now, if you remember, Angela King did say that Maggie is going to return in the nick of time. And that's why I also think that this person here with the scythes or whatever, this is why I think this person isn't Maggie as well, because that's not arriving in the nick of time. It kind of is, but we saw all of this in the opening minutes. I think Maggie is going to show up in style. Like, I don't think we're going to see her. Actually, first of all, we see this masked figure here before we even see Maggie in the opening minutes. So that just makes no sense. She's going to show up later on in the episode. She's going to save everybody. It has something to do with them getting trapped at some point, I'm sure. It could tie into Beta versus Negan. But yeah, this video is getting pretty long, so maybe I'll talk about other shots more in depth, like the actual trailer more in depth like I did with this one. But post all your thoughts down below. As of now, we've been through like what? It's been a month and a half, right? Yeah, a month and a half since episode 15 came out, and it doesn't look like we're going to get this finale into the fall, which does really suck. I want to watch this episode so bad. I really do. And we're not going to get it for, another 5 months at least, right? So we're just going to have to keep pulling through. We're going to have other shows in the meantime, and we're probably going to get an update at some point into this month because they're supposed to start filming in like a week or two. But obviously that's not the case because of everything going on. So they'll probably update everyone and say, we're not filming yet. Well, we're going to postpone it another month or something. Or whatever the update's going to be, right? We could get more of an update on when the finale is going to come out because they haven't even said when the finale is going to come out yet. They just said later this year, so they might actually put a release date. But anyways, whenever we get stuff like that, I'll obviously do a video on it. I'll let you guys know. But post all your thoughts down below in the season 10 finale trailer. What did you think about the things I talked about in this video? Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.